So because we thought that, you would want to be going out there and buying a house today, we're going to go through the tips for successful house hunting today.
Yep, some of the top ones are location counts. Really and truly, how far are you willing to commute to your new place? Maybe it's your employment, or if you want to be by school, shopping centers, public transportation, senior services are always a big thing. Even a picture-perfect dream home can be a mistake if it's in an undesirable location.
So when you're thinking about where you're purchasing a home, that's one of the things that we specialize in, because we do know the whole Central Florida area, and we have agents on our team that are more versed than others in other areas. So as a team, we can show you the whole gamut, and so it makes a difference knowing exactly where you want to be. And if you've lived in Central Florida for years, you might be more than happy exactly where you're at. But for people that are coming in from the outside, it's usually a really big decision. And I find that with anybody coming in town, we're spending at least 1 to 2 days just identifying the exact area of where they want to be. And the next thing that you want to do is writing a list.
Yeah, you definitely want to make a list of maybe what's important to you. Do you really know what you need and want in your new home? You'll actually save yourself a lot of time shopping, making a list ahead of time. It's just like when you go to the grocery store. You want to make a list. If not, you're going to buy stuff that you don't really need. So you want to zero in on the features that you must have. Would you like to have, definitely don't want, and would you prefer not to have?
When we first get together with people, we actually do a checklist to go through actually what's important and what's not. And sometimes, you might find a house that you think, oh, this was exactly what I wanted, and then you decide that's not what you want. But our checklist actually has 120 different items on it for you to consider, so you can actually make a list of what's most important to you and what's not. And then when it actually comes time to go out, then what you want to do is wear comfortable clothes and shoes, obviously.
Oh, yeah, definitely. House hunting, it definitely is tiring. Especially if you're relocating to a distant community and you want to see a dozen homes in the area in just one day. Trust me, I've done it before. I think the most I've ever shown, was 20 homes, and it was like over an 8-hour day.
You do also want to make notes when you're going through it. Some people do that through pictures, some people do that through video, and some people just write notes like the old-fashioned way on the papers that we give you. But it's really important because when you do see a lot of homes, they do kind of blend together. Usually there's one that's going to stick out, but in case that doesn't happen, or it was one that you might have overlooked early on in the day, it's great to have notes to remember what you thought about it, and so you don't have to go back and double check it. But the one thing that you do want to do when you are out looking at houses is you do want to be prepared to make an offer.
Yeah, house hunting can be frustrating, especially if you know in your heart that you're not really emotional or financially ready to buy a home. But if you're, not ready, don't put yourself through the exercise. If you are ready, go through a blank purchase contract ahead of time so you know what decisions you'll face when you make an offer.
Absolutely. And what happens in that is that we actually key in on what people are looking for and the keys to the unique housing market. Throughout the Central Florida area, we do run into right now that there aren't necessarily enough houses for you to buy. It's like we do run into buyers that are amazed that they can't find a house. And they can find a house. It just does take a little more work than they thought it would, because the houses that are in certain price points, they go so quickly that if you aren't on the spot like immediately, then you're going to miss it. And if you do go ahead and put in an offer on those houses, you have to have your ducks lined up. And so making a clean offer that has zero contingencies or as low contingency as possible, obviously if you do have to get a loan, those things need to be done, and we want to make sure that the house appraises and that that the value is in there.